Actually, I realized that I have more than 50 slides, so I have to skip a lot of them. But if any of the skipped slides catch your interest, please catch me somewhere this week or maybe next week. So, a little bit about me. I'm Tomoki Miyakawa, like Andy introduced me kindly. This is the group I'm working with, my students and my postdocs. And a lot of the contents I'll show today are contributed by these people and also others not in the photo. Anyway, I've been working on, is there a pointer? Or okay. So I've been working with clouds and high-resolution modeling, and recently we've coupled this high-resolution global model with the ocean model. So we're also very interested in air-sea interaction recently, and this is where I'm at. It's the Tokyo University campus, but it's outside of Tokyo actually, and we are the only research institute that has its own sushi restaurant in our building. So if you like sushi, please visit. And actually, actually my office is a bit far away from the sushi restaurant. Too bad. But anyway, and we also have a very nice football field in the back where we sometimes have this global high-resolution modeling soccer game. The one in the middle is Bjorn Stevens, if you know him. And this guy over here is working on the SCREAM model, the US high-resolution model. And this guy in blue T-shirts who's fouling off his boss is Daniel Clark, who actually led the Diamond 2 project with me. So this is a pretty high-resolution soccer game. So I'm really glad that I made it here. This was the weather forecast when I left. So I flew from Tokyo here on September 1st, when midnight of September 1st, so the typhoon was actually somewhere here. And it was very, very slow and raining so much and hampering the Western Japan. And people are starting to say that the slow speed of the typhoon was maybe because the jet stream was shifted northward, which is a tendency that is supposed to happen when the global warming continues. So we might be seeing a little bit of that effect here. We're not really sure about it, but we might be. So anyway, I escaped out of this typhoon barely and was surprised when I landed to Sydney, where I met an even much stronger wind. And yeah. So anyway, I feel very lucky that I made it here. So into the topic. So we've been working on this global cloud resolving model. I know people don't really want to agree with resolving, but anyway, that's what we're trying to do, what we intend to do, so we call it this way anyway. And the funding agencies don't really understand anything more complex than that. So why do we want high resolution anyway? It's very stressful to run. You need more CPU time. You have a lot of data coming out and a lot of more core failures, and it's very, very stressful. But if you look at this figure here, it's from Hunter et al. 2020. It's the 500-meter height vertical velocity figure. And if you can see the numbers, it starts from 62.5 meter mesh, an LES resolution, from 125 to 150, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, and 8,000. So in many papers, we call the 1,000-meter mesh model a cloud resolving scale. But you can see that if we compare it with the LES resolution, we still have a lot of structures missing. So anyway, if we go to high resolution, we get a lot more heterogeneity and clouds and small eddies, and we can express the topography a lot more precisely. And it is already known that short and local forecasts are known, they get better, they get better results. Well, we don't really know about this part. We have hope that perhaps it better expresses the upscale effect from cloud scale to the large scale that actually affects the climate. So is it enough to revolutionize the climate simulation? We don't really know if this is true or not. Well, we don't have proof for this, but the recent revision of our model by our young postdocs it really improved our climatology in a big way. So we're starting to have some better hope than we used to have in this point. So also for people who are not really familiar with the resolutions, this is like an overview of how the resolutions are. So we were looking at the LES model in the previous slide up to 8 kilometers around here, which is K-scale, which is recently called K-scale, or storm resolving or cloud permitting. And so back in 1993, Wiseman et al. Recommended that 4 kilometer resolution might be pretty much a good representation of the 1 kilometer resolution in terms of skull lines. So people, 20 years ago, people tried to get below 4 kilometers. Now people are trying to go to 1 kilometer and still fiddling around 1 to 5 kilometers, saying we're at the K scale. Anyway, I don't really like the word permitting because it doesn't translate very well to Japanese, and I feel like permitting means I need to ask for permission to someone. That doesn't really make sense. Cloud permitting. Okay. Well, anyway, so I still use the word cloud resolving, knowing that there is no such thing as resolving yet. But anyway, so sorry. So I'm using this Nikkan model, which had been developed by the Tomita-san and Sato-san back in early 2000s, when the first Earth simulator was installed into a Japanese agency. And after 20 years, in the first series of simulations, Tomita-san did a 3.5 kilometer global aquaplanet simulation for 1 week long. And that put so much pressure on him, he couldn't really press the enter button in fear that he might fail and blow up all the computational resource he had. But now, in 2024, even my students come up to me and say, hey, I want to do this 3.5 kilometer simulation, but I froze the world and accidentally. I'm sorry, can I have some more resource? And you can see how the world changed during the 20 years. Anyway, along the way, when the K computer was installed in Riken, we were able to do this first 870 meter global resolution simulation. And now with the new Fugaku supercomputer, we are at actually a 220 meter resolution at the highest. Of course, it's super slow, and it took half a year to just complete 8 hours of simulation. Anyway, I'll show you the figure later. Okay. So this is actually just for entertainment. It's the low resolution Nikkan, 3.5 kilometer. It used to be the high resolution model, but now it's way much lower compared to the highest ones we have. But anyway, having the clouds calculated directly without parameterization, we get these very fine scale structures. And if you're a satellite scientist, you may notice that it has a lot of difference from the observation, but if you're not, you wouldn't notice the difference. Okay. Anyway, there are many, so now with the globe-wide improvement of supercomputers. There are many global cloud resolving kind of activities over the world and also in Japan. And I'm not going into details here, of course, and this is slightly outdated, so you might see some big projects missing, but it's not because I don't like it. It's just that this slide is made a year ago. Okay. So for the global cloud resolving model intercomparisons, there have been some projects going on. Back in 2011, there was this ICOM-X with these 4 models. And the Diamond project, which is an intercomparison of global storm resolving model, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 models. And now for the Diamond Phase 2 in 2020, we have 14 models participating. And Diamond 3 is now under planning and coming soon. Okay. Oops. Yeah, so this Diamond Phase 2 project was led by Daniel Klock, who was fouling off Bjorn Stevens in the soccer game, and myself. And we did a 40-day simulation for sub-5 kilometer global resolving, cloud resolving, storm resolving models. And this is the the collection of the snapshots of the models. And these are pretty, but you do see that the clouds are very different. And by this figure, we already see that there are a lot of problems to be solved in these models. Well, the summer, this is the global distribution of precipitation, zonal mean precipitations. And the summer, the red lines are from Diamond Phase 1, and blue is from Diamond Phase 2. So they were targeted for summer and winter, and both had 40 days each. And the red and the thick red color here is the observation, and the pale ones are the models. And out of the box, this is still, you see a lot of errors in here, but it is still much better than what we expected out of the box, because these models are very high resolution and people didn't really have the opportunity to tune their models before starting this. So out of the box is pretty good, but we still see some double ITCZ kind of error. The blue here is the observation. There are 3 observations, and the observations don't agree each other either. But anyway, you can see that the observations has these peaks, while the mouse is difficult. Well, anyway, but the models have a more separated peaks, so we didn't really get away with the double ITCZ at this point. Well, anyway, we're working in, we're having a lot of collaboration through this Diamond project, and this figure was made by the ICOM team using the NICAM data during a hackathon back in 2022. So like a hackathon in yesterday's training day, things like this can pop out. And now, yeah, so the DKRZ system is accessible overseas. So my students are logging into their system using their tools with our data, and it's working pretty nicely now. So the world is becoming a lot more connected. And because they also have the system to provide their computational resource to the people logging in from outside. So if we can have that kind of system in many places over the world, we'll be able, even if you're, for example, from South America, where you don't have a lot of computational infrastructure, you still can participate in these activities where you read a huge amount of computational resource. So the world is changing, I guess. And so Diamond 3 is on the way, and coming next May, there's this global storm resolving Hackapalooza, whatever it is. Bjorn Stevens named it, and it's actually a hackathon that happens in many places over the world at the same time. So if you're interested, please hop in. And so back to our work in Nikkan. So we use this Fugaku supercomputer. It's pretty fast, and although by the measures used in, according to some metrics, it's not the #1 supercomputer anymore, but it's very easy to use, and I think it's still one of the best machines to be used for atmospheric and ocean science. So using this nice machine we have, we're using our model, Nikkan, to have a higher resolution and a longer resolution, and with a lot more ensemble members. And of course, plus some complexity added, like the ocean coupling, land coupling, aerosol coupling, etc. And more high-level cloud microphysics. So for the resolution, I won't go into the details. It just uses half of Fugaku, and it takes a lot of time. So what happened was, so this Shuhei here, he was actually a PhD student writing his thesis on a very different topic, but he couldn't really focus on his topic, so he decided to go on to do this 220-meter project. And I was his PhD referee, so I was having a split feeling that he should just work on his PhD, and half of me wanting to see what happens when he completes this simulation. So anyway, he did a series of simulations from 3.5, 1.7, 870, 440, and 220 meter resolutions. And this is a typhoon for the same case with 3.5 kilometer and 220 meters. And I'm pretty sure you can't really see the difference from the back of the room, but if you really zoom into what you have here, in 3.5 kilometers, you still have these kind of, maybe I should switch this one, yeah. So you still see kind of like a popcorn kind of clouds with very round-shaped precipitations. But now, if you go to the high resolution, I hope you can see there are a lot of streaky clouds and much more finer structures in the precipitation. Yeah, you might be able to see the difference here a lot more better. And I didn't show here, but there seems to be a kind of a jump in the structures when we go below 870 meters. So, and the precipitation distribution also changes a lot. So these two are from the 3.5 kilometer and the 0.22, and they are smoothed out to the same grid size. But you see in the left figure, the lower resolution, the precipitation is mostly very red or very white. Here on the right, you see much more blue and green, which means at 3.5 kilometer, the precipitation is too concentrated to where it's raining. In 220 meters, it's more, it has a more smooth distribution. Anyway, if it's too difficult to see from the back, just come to me later and I can show you very closely. And I think I should skip some of these in the interest of time, but as the resolutions get higher, it seems it's getting closer to the observation. But that could be just, that could change depending on our cloud microphysics tuning, so don't trust it too much. Anyway, for the integration period, we're trying to carry the low resolution version, the 3.5 or 7, 14 kilometer type of models to climate simulations. And we knew that the model had a lot of bias, but this beardy guy here did a great job in revising the cloud microphysics and also installing some schemes that incorporate horizontal mixing. It made a large part of double ITCZ go away, and also we got a very much better global distribution of the precipitation, as well as very nice MJOs and other intraseasonal signals as well. So I'll skip this. And so now, in the older version, we used for high-res MIP, there was a pretty clear double ITCZ, but it's going away. And we have a lot more spontaneous and strong signals of MJOs now. And one thing that also made a drastic change was the increase of the vertical resolution. It made a lot of zonal wind bias go away. So now we're getting pretty, way much better in terms of doing a climate simulation. We're getting a lot more well prepared for a climate simulation compared to what we had 5 years ago. And in terms of ensemble size, if we go to a relatively low resolution of globally 14 kilometers, we can do 100 members each per day. So this is a demonstration case for a typhoon that hit our campus in Tokyo. So we did 100 members each for every day. So we had 1,600 members of this simulation. And the red colors are the tracks of the typhoons that were relatively close to the observed track. And the yellows are the ones that were generated kind of realistically, but didn't follow the track. So even 2 weeks prior to the landfall of the typhoon, we were able to say that there's a higher risk of typhoon landfall, and the percentage was like 60%. So now the typhoon forecast is in Japan is upgraded to 5 days. It used to be 3 days. Now we have 2 weeks. So it's just a single case, but you can see that there might be a pretty good big jump here. And I'll skip these, but anyway. One reason was because we were able to track down a baby typhoon vortex traveling from the Eastern Pacific that originated from a ITCZ breakdown and became a easterly, their easterly wave. And then another reason was that we were able to simulate upper level trough over the Pacific. So 2 weeks prior to the actual landfall, the members that were able to produce this upper level trough, they were able to produce a realistic typhoon track. So having a large ensemble and being able to run a large ensemble with these models can actually help both our forecast and our understanding of what's important. And now we also, am I using two? Okay. So now we have our coupled model as well. And this guy here, in the previous computer, the K computer, we were using this 1 degree ocean model, which I actually like pretty much. It looks like a 1980s TV game, like a computer game, like with these blocks moving. But now we're using this higher 1/10 of a degree ocean, which is pretty nice. And we can see, for example, the footprints of a typhoon passing. And I didn't include it here, but we also see a lot of oceanic waves excited by the typhoons and stuff. I'll skip these. So anyway, I should leave 5 minutes for the questions, right? So I should end here. Okay, yeah. So anyway, global kilometer scale models are quickly becoming available all over the world. And for our case, the model is getting way much better compared to 5 years ago in terms of running straight in climate simulations. And we're also getting to a pretty crazy high mesh, although it's super short. And we're getting to high ensemble, big numbers of ensemble members, and it's also coupled, and we're pretty excited to see what it can do to improve our science. Yeah, thank you.
And there is time for questions. So, Lynn. By the way, if others have questions, feel free to raise your hand while someone's talking, and we can get the microphone to you while you're waiting. Go, Lynn.
So can I please ask how error zones are represented in cyclone simulations with the NICA model system, and what is the specific microphysics scheme used there?
Okay. Well, anyway, for the aerosols, we have the splinters model, but we usually turn it off because it costs a lot, and our aerosol team is a bit angry about that. But anyway, and for the cloud microphysics scheme, we have a single moment scheme with 5 or 6 hydrometers. We have a double moment scheme with 5 or 6 hydrometers, and we're also trying to implement a super droplet type of scheme, but that's still not working. So the double moment scheme with 6 hydrometers performs best for now, but it's way much costly. So in the slide, I showed the results from the single moment scheme.
Yeah. So actually 2 questions. So first one kind of relates to what Annie said about GPUs. Are you working to integrate GPUs into your climate models? And if
yes,
not,
yes, we are. Actually, our team already implemented the model runs on GPUs already, but it's still slow, so we need to speed it up. But it does run.
And the second, so you said that you need to kind of tune your models for different resolutions. Do you see that being a problem going forward? Like whenever you run a different resolution, you need to go and retune all the parameters in your model?
It depends on which resolution you're at. We're hoping that when we go to a high enough resolution, we will need less and less tuning. Well, we'll still need to tune the turbulence scheme, but at resolution like 3.5, 7, 14, the fall speeds of the water particles can so at those resolutions, the overturning time scale is different from reality. So if you put in the real fall speed, it's not really, it doesn't really match with the actual overturning time scale. So sometimes you get too strong cold pools or too less, and that could be a problem. So we have to tune it at that resolution. But when we go to higher enough resolution, we might be able to get over it.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Yeah, Brian.
If I understood correctly, a lot of these models are running with an ocean that's around 1/10 of a degree. But as you probably know, the real state-of-the-art in ocean modeling now, global, is actually also around 1 kilometer. So how many of these 14 models have a 1 kilometer ocean? Or, of order 1 kilometer?
The ones in the diamond, none of them. The highest is 2.5 kilometer run by the ICON. And they use the same grid for the atmosphere and the ocean. So when they go to high resolution on the atmosphere side, they also go high resolution on the ocean side. But it's their model and our model. We both have a lot of problem still in the ocean side. And for our case, our ocean team says they need more time. a lot more time to go to sub-mesoscale resolving resolution.
So that's an interesting point, because we're actually debating this in Australia at the moment as to if we do higher resolution coupled models, what's the appropriate ocean resolution for a given atmosphere resolution. And of course, I'm an oceanographer, so I would say the ocean should indeed be 10 times higher resolution than the atmosphere. But actually, I mean, you have different processes. I mean, you need to look at it from a process point of view. So you have different processes that are important at different scales in the ocean, and they may or may not be important to the coupling. Of course, if you do super high resolution ocean and you have a coarse resolution atmosphere, you can't resolve any of the dynamics, you only resolve the net effect. So have you or any of the high resolution team given some thought to what principles we should apply when we're trying to match resolution in different domains?
Principles, I don't think we have a clear idea, but the ocean modeling team, the ocean model is called COCO, which is the ocean component of the MIRAC model. And the developer sits in the next room from me, and he's now working on a very high resolution regional model as well. So we're trying to see what we really need from that kind of simulation. We don't really know.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Oh, Dima.
Yeah, you mentioned that these models are becoming available. I'm not sure what that means. So from my perspective, can you run historical simulations and scenarios into the future? And at what time frame do you think such models could run a CMAP scenario and historical simulation?
Actually, it's very far from running CMIP.
Yeah, how far? So
I
what
would
do you
say
think, like never in our lifetime, or 10 years, 20 years, or?
I would like to say 10 years, but I'll say 20 years to be on the safe side.
Farhan?
Hi, I'm just wondering if you've looked at any models that use unstructured meshes rather than a regular grid.
By unstructured, you mean really unstructured or kind of strange structured? Because we're on a icosahedral-based kind of grid.
I guess I'm talking about variable resolution. So, you pack in resolution where you need it. So it could be triangulations or Voronoi after triangulation. But so you could go anywhere from, 1 kilometer to 10 kilometers, that sort of variability in resolution.
I'm not sure if I captured your question correctly. You mean a really unstructured grid that kinds of like this, it's not really structured like a...
That's right, yeah, that's right. So I do coastal modeling, and so that's, I don't know much about atmosphere because you don't quite have the same coastal areas, but in coastal modeling, we would pack in high resolution close to the coast, and it would sort of fan out in the open ocean. And so that's how you can pack in resolution where you need it without actually blowing out the entire mesh size.
Like altered a grid?
Yep.
Yeah, we have like a stretched grid system, but that only stretches, kind of concentrates the grids into one point and stretches over the other places. So it's not a super fancy way we're doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tomoki. That's really amazing work. I was just wondering if you'll be able to share, some insights regarding model evaluation. I think probably one of the challenges we have with this high resolution model is, having the observational data to be able to rigorously evaluate them. I think you show one of the slides basically suggesting that even the observational data sets disagree with each other. So I wonder, when we getting more and more of these details, we probably have better observations over land, but over the ocean, I think a lot of regions still poorly observed. I just wonder, if you're aware of any research going on in this space to address this kind of challenge or knowledge gap.
Well, one thing I'm excited about recently is the EarthCare satellite. It provided the first image from the launch already, and it's on their website. I'm we're already seeing a lot of fine structures, and because it has a Doppler radar, it actually so you don't have to worry about the attenuation and can see the structure below the clouds without being worried about the attenuation. And that could actually, we're thinking that could help our model a lot. So we're looking forward to actually get our hands on the data.
And are you building like those satellite sensor simulators for your
For
model
Earth Care,
simulation?
not yet, but for others, we do have those. There's a team for that.
All right, thank you.
Maybe you can join me in thanking Tomoki for a very engaging talk.